Today marks 1132nd day sharing lessons I learned and continue to learn with all of you. My hope that these insights inspire you, support your dreams, allow you to achieve your goals, and really empower you to become the person that you want to become. Now, if you want to become the best person that you want to become, you will need to use habits, great habits. But at the same time, when we have great habits, it might be that at some point we break a good habit. We break a good habit. And today I want to share exactly what happens when you break a good habit. What are you supposed to look for in a good habit? So number one is that it's normal to slip up. It's normal to really make a mistake. It's normal. You're supposed to seek excellence, not perfection. So if you slipped for one day, that's all fine. That means go back to the good habit as fast as you can. Because it's totally normal. I think that sometimes we seek that perfection so bad that sometimes when we slip one, we seem devastated because now I already made a mistake, so why am I supposed to keep doing it? We're not supposed to have that all or nothing mindset. Because slip up is okay. Now the fastest you go back, the better. Number two is habits are fragile but flexible. That means exactly the same. So that means that you might be as you slip because habits are very fragile. And it might be that there's so many things going on in your life, in your plate, in your circumstances, that you were not able to do that habit. So that means at that moment, we need to ask, okay, what do I need to fix? What do I need to fix? Because there could be internal things that you need to adjust. You don't need to be external things that you need to adjust, just to make sure that you're able to go back to the habit as soon as possible. Okay. Number three is emotional reactions can shape your recovery. This is very powerful. Emotional reactions can shape your recovery. So when you slip, when you make a mistake, that is, of course, impossible not to slip. At some point in life, you will make a slip. So how do you feel about that slip will dictate how fast you recover. If you feel guilt, shame, disappointment, those negative emotions create negative actions. But if you are self-compassion and you say, that's all normal, that happens to everyone, at that moment, we're able to say, okay, what do we need to do right now to recover, to get back? And be grateful about the opportunity to really get back rather than be disappointed and shameful and regretful. Now, it's easy to blame yourself. It's easy to have guilt. Now, of course, I understand that some people make mistakes a lot, but sometimes I think it's even harder when you do once in a lifetime because you never dealt with it. But we need to understand that every single slip up is an opportunity to really get back and never do it again. There's never do it again. Of course, we will do that again, but we need to really strive for excellence, strive for perfection, but knowing there is never will be perfection and being okay for making a mistake. Number 4 is triggers and environment matter. So it means when you make that mistake, you're able to really identify what led you to break that habit, what led you to make that mistake, what led you to make that slip. So when you identify what was the trigger, what was that one thing that really actually stopped you, maybe you ask, what do you need to cut out of my life that never happens again? Maybe there is something that is really constantly is stopping you from keeping that habit. What are this thing? Maybe some kind of negative habit. Maybe that's a person. Maybe it's a group. Maybe there is whatever it is. Like look at what exactly triggered your habit to break for that day, to slip up. And it's a powerful thing that if you identify the pattern or identify the trigger, now you're able to focus that and fix that and really be happy that because now you know exactly what to do to fix your habit and it doesn't happen again. Number 5 is recovery is more important than a slip up. Recovery is more than a slip up. So that means that when you actually slip, when you may break the habit, at that moment, what do you focus? Do you focus on the slip up or do you focus on solution, getting back? So that means we want to focus on as fast as I can go back to the habit. Go back to the habit. So when you are back on the habit, then you're able to reflect, okay, what really happened? What really happened? But the first one, we need to go back to the habit, making sure that we are running, make sure that we're doing the right things. At that moment, making sure that we're able to focus on the slip up, understand the slip up. But first is recovery of the slip up is more important than the slip up itself. And you're able to really focus on getting back. So now when you're back on habit, you feel positive, you feel excited, you know that you are on a good path. At that moment, you're able to use that appreciation that you are back on, and use that energy to really reflect what happened with the slip up. Number 6, is breaking a habit can be a growth opportunity. A growth opportunity. That means that we're able to reflect on our time, on our capabilities, our skill sets, on our balance of life, on our values. So many things that we can reflect on that could make us better. Because failures is a reflection mode. So they said that when you really get back on the habit, and then you really start reflecting, it might be that something needs to change, something needs to happen to make sure that you are even better. So those reflection modes are growth opportunities. Because if everything goes perfectly, sometimes it's harder to really grow. But when you made a mistake, when some kind of there's a room of improvement, at that moment, of course, you're able to get better, improve, understand yourself better, build self-awareness, and those are very positive things. Number 7 is habits are part of a bigger picture. Habits are part of a bigger picture. Habit itself is not as important as what those habits lead you to. But you'll never achieve your success without really actioning habits. There's nothing that you do one time and you forget about it and you achieve success. No, that never happens. Only through discipline and habits you're actually able to achieve something meaningful. Skill sets, relationships, health, everything is coming from the habits. That means if you do not have habits, it might be that you will not achieve the best results in multiple areas in your life, in finances, in health, in relationships. All the things, inner peace, is coming through discipline, through really doing the habits that really elevate those areas that you really want to develop. So habits really are those cornerstone of the bigger picture in your life. Discipline and habits. Number 8 is the danger of all or nothing thinking. And I already mentioned that a lot of times when we really have a habit, it is a great habit, we're doing that for 100 days, and we make one mistake and we do not do one day. And then we fall out of the habit altogether and we don't do that habit for 100 days again. So we do 100 days and then we don't do 100 days. And then we don't like the results that we're getting, and we then jump back on the habit and for 100 days. And then we're jumping back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that's, of course, it doesn't bring us the results that we want because we never achieve the momentum. That momentum could give so much result. I think that when we look into people who really do their habit for a year and they stop, and other people do 100 days and stop, and is that person who did a year, 300 days, will have not 3 times more result. I think that the person who does a year will have 10 times more result than a person who 100 days, because a person who does a year will build a much bigger momentum that really improves the results exponentially. Because habits, compound effect, works exponentially. It's not linear. That means that if a person was doing 100 days, other does 300 days, it's not that the other person will have 3 times more results. No, most likely to have 10 times more results. Because the momentum and compound effect will start to kick in. That's why it's very, very important not to have that all or nothing thinking. If you made a mistake, that's totally fine. We go back as fast as can, but otherwise we will lose momentum. Number 9 is habits have a lifespan. So it might be that some habits will have a lifespan because we develop, we grow, we improve. So the habits that led you to this spot might become a jail to keep where you are. So be able to always reflect, okay, is this habit that I'm doing right now is still benefiting me? And how? Because at some point, some habits will need to be changed. Some habits will keep for the rest of life. Drinking water every single day, that's a habit that you will not break. You will not need to change it to start drinking something else besides water. No, but some habits, maybe you develop a skill set and you reach some level of skill set, you don't need to do basic things. Now you potentially could start doing some even more advanced things, more complex things. So it means knowing that some habits have a lifespan is very important, because those habits that you keep repeating could keep you in the same spot. And in current times, it's a dangerous thing. And last thing that I would love to mention is that we really need to understand that we need to be strategic with our breaks. Strategic with our breaks. I think that when we have very heavy, successful habits, at some point we might be even tired as well. And I believe not in balance, I believe in seasons. I believe in seasons. And in some seasons you can really invest so much time, energy in something, and we build such a strong habits, and it could be tired. So being strategic with your breaks between your habits to make sure that you have energy to do those things is very, very important. So that means that is recharge. How do you recharge on a daily basis just to make sure that you're able to execute on those habits on a daily basis? Because some habits really drain energy when you do something new for the first time. So being able to have those breaks in place, understand, okay, how I'm able to really have a habit on energy building, recharging, resting, just to make sure that I keep repeating the right habits to achieve great success. So I hope that you will reflect as well. What kind of habits do you have right now? What kind of habits really help you to achieve in multiple areas of life? What kind of habits do you have for your health? What kind of habits do you have for finances? What habits do you have for relationships? So when you start reflecting all those things, and maybe you'll find, okay, I have a habit for the health, I have a habit for career, but I don't have any habits for finances. I don't have habits for relationships. Maybe that's an opportunity for growth, because every single area, most important area of life, deserves to have a great habit. So I hope you choose to win, and see you tomorrow.